For decades, Mike Busch has been a power player in Annapolis, fighting for the people. But last year, he found himself on the losing end of a very private battle as his liver started to fail. This morning, he tells Vic Carter how someone he loves has given him the gift of life and how it's changed him forever.
For 30 years, Mike Busch has been a powerful presence in Maryland's House of Delegates, fighting for education and health care. But last winter, people started noticing that something was very wrong with the man who was larger than life. His liver was failing, and he needed a transplant to live.
Suddenly something's pretty much stopping you in your tracks.
So I've never lived like a 9-to-5 lifestyle, and I've never been sick. I mean, I never had any real illness. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're stopped in your tracks a little bit by this stuff, and you try to power through.
Busch, who was suffering from the non-alcoholic form of liver disease, needed a liver transplant immediately. But with a long list of people waiting, the fastest way to get one was from a living donor.
When did you make the decision to call your family together and say, hey, I need help?
I called my sisters when I got home. I said, look, I got to meet with you.
When your sisters sat around that table,
Right.
looked at their brother and said, hey, I'll do this. Describe that feeling.
It was very emotional because it's a big sacrifice. Have to go in the hospital, you know, anything can happen, and none of them hesitated.
Busch's sister, Lori, was the best match.
The living donor liver transplant allowed him to kind of avoid that most serious life-threatening period of illness.
Living donor transplants were once rare, but this year, University of Maryland Medical Center performed 170 operations like the one with Busch and his sister. Dr. Rolf Barth is the head of their division of transplantation and tells WJZ these transplants are excellent options for many patients.
Somebody donates half or actually maybe even 2/3 of their liver. But what happens is that that liver grows back in both people.
Now, Busch wants everyone to know how living donor transplants can save lives. And thanks to his sister, he's not taking his for granted.
Let's be real, she saved your life.
She did. Look, I mean, it would have been a struggle, no doubt. And but she saved my life. I think about it every day when I go home, go to bed, and then get up with a positive attitude every morning and make sure that you make her sacrifice worthwhile.
Vic, the biggest question, of course, is how is he doing now?
Well, I mean, Michael Busch is doing really well, considering where he was and the fact that, you know, he had a life-threatening situation, and it's day by day for him. He says he continues to get stronger. He's going to be ready for the legislature in 2018, but this is a period in his life where he had to just stop and concentrate and take care of himself.
And this is a man who's always on the go. He's always busy.
Always busy. You know, he was an athlete, he was a coach, he was a teacher, of course, Speaker of the House. He has 2 jobs, still works for Anne Arundel County, and, you know, works in the legislature. But this is an amazing story. You know, his sister, Lori, volunteered. As a matter of fact, all 3 of his sisters volunteered to donate a portion of their liver. They chose Lori. She was the best candidate, and she gave him life. And he says he will never, ever forget that. And so he's learned a lot about himself. And of course, as a person who has 4 sisters myself, he's going to owe her for the rest of his life, for sure.
She'll never let him forget
yes,
it.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It is amazing because of tens of thousands of people waiting for an organ.
Exactly.
And that his sister was able to
Live donors are always the best possibility because it can be immediate, can be remedied right away. People on the waiting list could be there for a very long time, and of course their condition can worsen. Michael Busch said the timing of everything for him was just perfect in terms of getting the donor. But you got to remember, he spent a long time sick. And the sickness actually was kind of a surprise to him. He wasn't expecting it. But he's much better now. He's ready to go to work.
Okay, and we will see him back in Annapolis.
Absolutely, 2018.
All right, Vic, thank you so much for the profile. We appreciate it.